In world history stands a towering figure named Marcus Aurelius, considered a symbol of supreme authority. He distinguished himself not only by his position but also by his strict moral life, devotion to principles, and deep philosophical thought. Unlike other Roman rulers, he rejected excesses and luxurious pleasures, from feasts overflowing with wine to bloody spectacles in the Roman Colosseum. He clearly understood his mission, to serve humanity, a noble task assigned by fate. With such a mindset, Marcus Aurelius devoted himself wholeheartedly to realizing the meaning of his life, not allowing himself to become entangled in fleeting worldly pleasures. Foundations of Stoic philosophy. One of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy lies in the ability to distinguish between what we can control and what lies beyond our control. Epictetus, one of the great thinkers of this school, clearly pointed this out in his teaching: with the exception of our actions, everything else is beyond our control. Such awareness is not only clear but also profound, opening a new perspective on the world and our interaction with it. Building on this principle, Stoic philosophy does not call us to completely renounce the world. Instead, it encourages us to accept and realistically approach our limitations. The Stoics believe that focusing on things beyond our control brings only unnecessary burden. When life is filled with suffering, it often happens because we care too much about factors that are not within the sphere of our influence. If we continue to allow external factors to control us, we become puppets in the hands of fate. We often blame those who control us, but in reality, we voluntarily gave them this power. As soon as we stop paying attention to external influences, they lose their power, and we gain true inner peace. Marcus Aurelius's ability to remain unshaken in the face of things beyond his control allowed him to pass through the numerous trials he faced as emperor. He could focus on the task that, in his opinion, the gods had assigned to him. For Epictetus, freedom meant not succumbing to external forces and focusing on meaningful goals. For others, this could be the path to a contented and carefree life. When life becomes difficult, what should we stop worrying about, and how do we do it? This is an exploration and interpretation of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy on how to learn to worry less about anything. In his reflections, Marcus Aurelius distinguishes between the present, past, and future. The emperor offers valuable insights into how we worry too much about the wrong things. For the sake of clarity and structure, let's begin with the future. The future, source of our suffering. As Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This means that our thoughts about the future are the source of our suffering. When it comes to the future, our imagination tends to run wild, creating many scenarios of what might happen, most of which will probably never occur. Faced with this, we contemplate how to cope with possible consequences, trembling at the thought that we don't know how the future will unfold or how our lives will turn out. In some cases, what we predicted happens, but in many others, fate catches us by surprise, forcing us to feel overwhelmed by events we cannot foresee, for better or for worse. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what burdens us is not what happens to us, but how we deal with it in the present. All suffering from the future occurs in the present. Interestingly, it's not that the future happens in the present, but when we excessively worry about future events, life gradually becomes painful because we transfer them into our imagination, allowing these future anxieties to control us. What did Marcus Aurelius say about excessive worry about the future? First, consider this quote: "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." He pointed out that if you can cope with the present, you can cope with the future. When he focused on the present, he understood that he could endure it. So why couldn't he handle what was to come? Such a view is similar to the concept of amor fati, love and acceptance of fate, reinforced by the confidence that if you can endure it now, you can endure it later. The past, what we cannot change. Regarding the past, Marcus Aurelius understood that life is fleeting. In the vast world beyond our reach, the past, like the future, lies in a sphere where we cannot act. What's done is done. And unless we invent a time machine, we cannot change what has happened. He said, "Remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting moment. All the rest of his life has either passed and disappeared, or has not yet arrived. Therefore, much of what we do is vain and meaningless." It's not that past events don't affect the present or that we can't learn from past events. We cannot work with the past, it's beyond our reach. Memories of our past are often blurred. What exactly happened is difficult to determine because it depends on personal perspective. Many people continue to replay past events in their minds, reliving the pain they caused. Some may believe that by thinking about the past, we somehow control it, but this is an illusion. The past is gone, and we're only dealing with thoughts about what has disappeared and will never return. I wish I had done it differently, many say. But it's impossible. These wishes can never be satisfied. How to approach the past? Instead of focusing on past events, Marcus Aurelius focuses on how he relates to them. We cannot control past events, and it's very likely that we cannot control them when they occur in the present. However, we can control how we relate to them. Initially, we may perceive the past as unfavorable situations. Perhaps we experienced a difficult childhood filled with deprivation and trials, or we may have experienced the end of important relationships that we thought would last forever. These could also be entrepreneurial ventures that ended in failure, projects we hoped would succeed but ultimately didn't. However, the past is not just a series of misfortunes but part of our journey. It can help us learn, mature, and grow. Difficulties and failures in the past can help us better understand ourselves, explore our boundaries more deeply, and find ways to overcome them. They can become valuable lessons that will make us stronger and better prepared for future challenges. View the past as part of your story, an integral but not solely defining part of your life. It's a source of inspiration to move forward and build a better future. Don't let the past shape your thinking and decisions. Use it to become stronger and more confident before upcoming trials. But for Marcus Aurelius, the essence of these events doesn't matter. What matters is how he relates to them. He poses the question, can we truly call something unfortunate if it doesn't violate the essence of human nature? Can you say that something is a misfortune if it doesn't contradict the essence of human nature? He asks, do you think that what doesn't violate the will of nature can violate it? Do you know the will of nature? Did what happened prevent you from acting justly, flourishing, correctly, honestly, humbly, qualities that allow your true nature to flourish? The future again, how to stop worrying. When it comes to the future, our imagination often works uncontrollably, creating countless scenarios of what might happen, many of which may never come to pass. First, we think about how to cope with possible consequences, trembling with fear of the unknown future or what will happen in our lives. In some cases, what we predicted happens, but fate can catch us by surprise with events we couldn't foresee, for good or ill. Some people have spent a lot of time and effort preparing for the perfect retirement, but sometimes life doesn't go according to plan, and these plans may not materialize. Nevertheless, giving up is not worth it. Instead, we can learn to adapt to changes and adjust our plans to create a meaningful and exciting retirement. Imagine, on the threshold of the golden years of life, a person receives a diagnosis of late-stage cancer and has only a few months to live. The possibility of such events generates much anxiety. We constantly think about the best and worst that can happen. What if World War III starts? What if I lose all my money? Such adverse outcomes are possible, but is it worth worrying about them in advance? As Seneca suggested, the future worries us because we think about it. It exists only in our minds. If you were faced with a life-threatening cancer diagnosis, what would prevent you from living today and enjoying every precious moment of your precious life? Stand up, hold your head high, no matter what, whether it's trivial things or significant matters. Wear your best clothes, your best shoes, and create moments that will be remembered even after you're gone. The present, the only thing we have. Marcus Aurelius realized that the present moment is all we have. This is the narrow field within our reach. While the past and future are vast areas beyond our control, the present exists only in the moment, and the rest of our life has either passed or has not yet unfolded. And yet we often don't focus on the present. We become dissatisfied with how life unfolds at the moment, perhaps because everything isn't going according to plan, or because our desires haven't yet been satisfied. That's when the present moment becomes a torturous imprisonment, where we endure the oppression of the future or cling to what slips away from us in the present. Marcus Aurelius's advice: fully enjoy the present moment, accept it as it is. He believed that the course of the world is not in our power, but our reaction is in our power. Although we cannot control external events, we can control how we react to them. An example of applying the philosophy. Imagine, you had a difficult childhood, full of obstacles and deprivations. It may be easy to label your past as a series of misfortunes. However, according to Marcus Aurelius's philosophy, it's important not to call these events disasters, but how you choose to react to them. He believed that in the face of real events, if you don't consider them disasters, they won't harm you. It's all about perspective. Instead of dwelling on the hardships of the past, focus on how this experience shaped you and made you stronger. In this way, you follow Stoic philosophy by accepting what you cannot change and finding inner strength in the present. Marcus Aurelius viewed the laws of nature as his guide. If he resisted nature or felt anger or sadness toward it, he would become a deserter who fled from what he should have harmonized with. A practical example: a difficult period in life. Imagine you're going through a rather difficult period in your personal life. You've lost an important relationship and feel sadness and despair. According to Stoic philosophy, you can approach this situation as follows. First, accept the situation. Accept that the loss of a relationship is part of life, and you cannot fully control it. What matters is how you deal with it. Second, focus on self-worth. Instead of blaming yourself or feeling hopeless, focus on self-development and building self-worth from within. Third, learn and grow. View the loss of a relationship as an opportunity to learn something and strengthen yourself. What lessons can you extract from this situation, and how can you become stronger? Fourth, live in the present. Don't waste time worrying about the past or fearing the future. Focus on the present and engage in what brings you joy. Fifth, communicate with your surroundings. If you feel lonely, try to communicate with friends and get support. And finally, deal with emotions. Learn to manage and control your emotions rather than letting them control you. The art of living. This is the art of living. It's not about stunning and successful external circumstances we encounter because they are unstable, fragile, and changeable. It's about how we handle the events we face. This is what we should think about. Focus on this. Try to live in the present, regardless of the circumstances you face. Start changes with what is in your power. Just start. Don't look at others. Don't look to the future. Don't dwell on the past. Look at what's right in front of you and just start. I hope you achieve the desired positive results in life. Remember, motivation can fluctuate, but be persistent and consistent in everything you do. David's story. Before I finish, I want to share with you an interesting story about how Marcus Aurelius completely changed the life of a man named David. David is a young, energetic man, but his life is always tense and full of pressure. He works every day at a large company and always feels tired and unmotivated. During that difficult period, David began studying Marcus Aurelius's philosophy about how to live meaningfully and work with a moral soul. This made a huge impression on David. He began to study Stoicism more deeply and apply this philosophy in everyday life. He learned to approach work pressure more calmly, deal with stress better, and focus on truly important life values. Thanks to Marcus Aurelius, David's life completely changed. Life is no longer as stressful and tense as before, and he noticed huge changes in his thinking and spirituality. Conclusion. Remember, life is a continuous journey, and there are precious moments that can completely change our lives. Thanks to Marcus Aurelius's reflections, we touch success and happiness. This article offers valuable advice and wisdom from one of the greatest philosophers in history. The time has come to refresh your life with a new wind. Take a moment to enjoy this wisdom, a window into a world of new discoveries and understanding. We firmly believe that through these true moments, you will find inspiration and deep understanding. Let's create a community full of knowledge and rich experience, because each of our materials is a step toward a more conscious perception of the world. Join the journey where each story is a new adventure that opens doors to infinite enlightenment and inspiration. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we look forward to sharing even more information with you in the future. See you soon.